welcome to the third episode of Spilling the Green Beans, where I share with you my green secrets to inspire you to start growing your own vegetables. And in this episode, I also share with you my other passion, which is cooking. Yay! I am your host, Emily, and I'm the creator of Easy Urban Gardening, the system to growing your own vegetables on a balcony or a terrace in town. And thank you for spending your time with me today. Growing vegetables can seem daunting and hard work, but I share with you the most crucial techniques to make it fun and easy. You'll also learn how to take advantage of the broad health benefits of gardening and how to cook delicious meals with your own vegetables. In short, I'm gonna spill all my green secrets. So I will be spilling the green beans. This episode is the first vegetable specific episode in which I combine my passion for growing vegetables with my over 150 years long family legacy. I don't know whether you know already, but I am the sixth generation female chefs in my family. My great grandmother had her own business catering the high society parties of Prussia in Germany, including the emperors. And her knowledge, passion, and expertise of cooking, ingredients, and flavor combinations is passed on from mother to daughter all the way down to me. And with my mother being a Dutch hobby chef of the year and former TV chef. My mom and I also both worked with two Michelin star chef Emmanuel Mertens, and now we are in business together. Thank you for tuning in to Spilling the Green Beans, episode 3, which is all about chard, also referred to as Swiss chard. So I'll give you some detailed information about this amazing vegetable, plus discuss some delicious options to cook with it. But I thought it might be a good idea to first show you how chard actually looks like. And for that, I'm going to take you along for another first of this show. I'm going to take you along into my own garden. So I'm going to pick up the camera and turn it around so you can see how my garden looks like in January. Let me quickly see how to do that. It should be like this. So, as you can see, not all snow is melted away yet. But temperatures are really going up as forecasted. So that is going to be only a matter of maybe a day or two. And the more sturdy winter vegetables, even in this one where, you can see it's really packed in snow. But look underneath the cover. You see it? Yes, there is my endive. Still looking green and going strong. So underneath the snow, there's all sorts of vegetables. I have rocket and spinach, etc. But here I have a little, it's a cold greenhouse. You see it? Yes, you can see it. And my biggest chard plant is in here. So this is what chard looks like. It's kind of like, it's leafy, it's colorful. You can see you have lighter green leaves, a bit darker greens, like really the red ones. Stems also, they can be pinkish red, orangey. They can be yellow, they can be light green. Here you can see the young one. It's more yellowish, as you can see. So those are the options, and that is what chard actually looks like. So, and as I said, chard it's a green leafy vegetable, but it's also highly nutritious. It's an extremely good source of vitamin K, but also vitamin A and C. So you get the whole shebang in one little veggie. And it also contains quite some interesting and important minerals like magnesium and iron in relatively high quantities. And for the iron, you now might think like, oh, that might be is like spinach. Well, it is something like it, and the vegetable is also a little bit comparable from the taste. You can have it in your garden almost all year round, as you saw in my garden. That is the biggest one, but underneath the snow, I know there are several smaller ones that I sowed really late in the season last year. So as soon as temperatures now go up, as forecasted for us later this week, 7-8 degrees during daytime, they will kind of like wake up and start growing again. So it really is an all year round veggie. And as I already mentioned a little bit, the taste is a bit between spinach and rocket. So it is a little bit more bitter than spinach, but considerably less bitter than rocket or chicory, as an example. And when you are thoughtful with the harvesting, you can have fresh greens from one single plant for a really, really long time. Because you can choose, you can either harvest the plant in once it has a decent size, say roughly like 20 to 25 centimeters high, maybe even 30 centimeters high leaves, as you saw the biggest leaves in my garden. That is kind of like the size, if most leaves have that kind of size. You can cut the whole plant at once. But you can also decide, and that's what I mainly do, is just pick the big leaves, and then the plant keeps producing leaves, fresh new leaves, young leaves, for a really longer period of time. Then a little practical, like in the Easy Urban garden, you grow 4 chard plants in a square. And what I then also tend to do, kind of like I sow them all 4, but of course, 4 plants never ever, first of all, they never ever grow at the same speed. And I also kind of like use them differently. So I pick 2 of them where as soon as I have leaves the size of, say, 10 to 20 centimeters long, including the stem, I pick them like on the outer side of the plant. And I use those like as single leaves. And the other 2 plants I just leave and mature until the plant is, as I said, roughly so between 20 and 30 centimeters high. And then I cut the whole plant at once. So one of those mature plants is for the 2 of us, like 2 adults. It is big enough to serve like sauteed or something like that as a vegetable to go with the main course. And the single leaves I always mix in with other salad greens or with other stir fry veggies. And I also use like a single leaf, maybe cut in slim strips, as kind of like an add-on to a lunch omelette or something like that. Then, as I mentioned completely in the beginning, like, chard is also often referred to as Swiss chard. And as I am living in Switzerland, of course, I did a little bit additional research. But the origin of the adjective Swiss is absolutely unclear. And originally, chard is also a coastal plant. So it's definitely not native to the landlocked country Switzerland is. But first of all, it thrives in our climate, absolutely. And it is used in some traditional cuisine, like a dish called kapoens, which is from the canton of Graubünden. And for that, you make a kind of pasta, which you mix it with dried beef, and then you form it into kind of like a roll, like a little sausage, which you wrap in chard leaves, and then you boil it in stock or in bouillon. So it's not really something I often make because I didn't grow up with it. So I know the dish, and it's really nice, but it's not kind of like in my standard repertoire, so to say. But I do make something that is kind of similar. And that is that I fry some finely chopped onions, some garlic, and some minced meat. And then I mix that with spices or dried herbs, whatever I like at the moment, or what I have in my cupboard. And then I make the little meat sausage that I wrap in the chard. Then I boil it in a bouillon, and I often then remove it to oven dish, sprinkle it with some grated cheese, quickly under the grill, and then I eat it. It's yummy. It's yummy. So, as I mentioned already a little bit, like you can use chard really in almost every form and way. Raw, boiled, sauteed. And the longer you boil it or cook it, the more the bitterness fades. So if that's not really your thing, you can really serve it cooked. But and you can eat the leaves as well as the stems. But of course, the stems are a little bit more stronger in taste, including the bittery taste, than the leaves. So I often use the leaves raw, like in a salad, and then you can compare it with spinach in a salad. So a really yummy combination this time of year is with like thinly sliced fennel, some orange fillets, which is like when you cut the meat of the orange out of the skin of the parts, and then you make a vinaigrette with, instead of oil and vinegar, you use oil and then a mixture of lemon juice and tangerine juice and salt and pepper. Then you have that's a delicious salad as a combination. Another combination of chard leaves in a salad is a bit more summery when you combine it with a basic vinaigrette, maybe with a berry vinegar or cherry vinegar. And then you add on like pomegranate seeds and some feta cheese or something like that. So that's also really, really nice. Then you can use it, the leaves and the thinner stems, in any possible combination where you could also use spinach. So what I like to do is to make a lasagna with salmon, and then I put in between a layer of chard instead of spinach. Also, I like it in the more creamy pasta sauces. Really, really nice. And then finally, the stems, the little bit thicker stems, and in that sense also a little bit more bitter. I like to use them for stir fry. So when you really nicely stir fry them with onions and a lot of garlic, and then maybe serve it with, let's say, what is nice? A chicken satay, for instance. Really, really good combination. So just to wrap up a little bit, if you want to grow chard or Swiss chard, which I kind of like to use because I'm living in Switzerland. It's a silly thing, I know, but whatever. If you want to grow chard yourself, you sow 4 plants in an easy urban garden square. And you can sow it anytime between March and November. It takes roughly 7 weeks from sowing until you can start harvesting, like with the first leaves. And you, as I said, you harvest all year round in a continuous process of picking single leaves from the outer part of the plant. Because as long as you keep the heart intact, the plant keeps producing new leaves. Or you can, of course, harvest it all at once. As a last little thing, The plant, of course, does not keep producing fresh leaves forever. I mean, there comes a time that it's either exhausted or the weather conditions are just like that, that overnight it starts blooming. Well, when it starts blooming, I would recommend to cut it, or you leave it for the bees, bumblebees, and other pollinators if you like. It happened to me once. I just left it as I had space in my garden, but normally you would then immediately take it out, refresh your square with fresh compost, and grow something new. So, of course, it won't go on forever, as said, but it will go on for quite a long time if you want it to. So, that leaves me to thanking you for spending your time with me in the garden, this time really in the garden. And if you enjoyed this episode of Spilling the Green Beans, please share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and give a review so more people can enjoy the show. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.